My name is Andres. Thank you guys for being here. Chef Craig here as well, remote. And we're gonna do a dough class today. It's a little special liquid. However, this is our first class in Michigan at our new studio. We've had some changes. We moved to Michigan, and now we've been looking for a studio. We found one. It's not done yet, but I'm in here. I've got this amazing oven. I've got this. It's a monogram oven, wall oven, and we're gonna be doing this like a lot of content in here. Doing these classes again once a week. At least once a week. So you guys have any special requests for a class, just let us know and we'll take care of it. We'll get on it. We can make anything in here. And we'll just keep getting better and better. But hopefully this is good for you guys. You can see great. And we got a lot of cool stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of new people, some old people here. We're gonna make dough. Our famous dough, baking steel dough. And just love it. I'm pumped to be back making pizzas again in the studio with you guys. So let's have a blast. This is our most common, our most popular recipe. We call it the 72-hour dough. It's just lights out good, and it's super easy to make. So take some notes, ask a bunch of questions. We'll probably get to those at the end. And don't be shy, let us know, because I'm sure whatever question you have, someone else has, it'll be super helpful. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like our page and share it with your friends. All right, you guys? So to make our dough, so actually today's perfect because it's Wednesday. I'm gonna make dough now for Friday night or Saturday for the weekend. It's always good to give yourself a few days to let this dough ferment. As far as the flour goes, we've done a ton of research. We just find that like bread flour is ideal for a home oven on a baking steel at 500 degrees. So we searched for organic flours. We've tried a bunch of different styles. This is a brand from centralmilling.com, and it's great. It cooks great. It's organic, which we love. So it doesn't have any of those funny bleaches inside of the dough. It's as clean as it gets, and it tastes amazing. So highly recommend a really strong, high protein content flour. This is a bread flour. King Arthur flour has a great bread flour as well. There's other brands. If you need some ideas, shoot us a message. We'll take care of them. But again, this is what we're using today. We flour, salt, water, yeast. And where do you make the dough? You know, you need a scale too, by the way. This is a digital scale called My Way. You can find them on Amazon. We dial our ingredients in by weight, ideally. That way, it's a science project. It's going to be perfectly executed every time by using a scale. We don't want to eyeball it because the water to dough content is critical, and we want to really dial that in. So I'm just going to basically turn my scale on. You guys can see a little bit here. Point this down a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. Got my scale. We got these new dough containers, which are really great. These are great because I can kind of keep everything. I'm not going to make a mess on my counter. I can keep everything on the scale. Oops, let me just move that. Tear it. And tearing it means I'm getting it to zero. And now I'm going to take 500 grams of flour and just put it in my, my bin. When I get to 500, that's it. That's 506, close enough. And then I'm gonna give that a little wiggle, settle it down. I like sea salt. You can see this. And this is gonna be 16 grams of sea salt. So I maybe put some of my hands and overdo it. Not super critical, but I like it to be a salty dough. That's 16 grams of sea salt. I could also dissolve that into water if I felt like it, but I'm not going to. Now I can literally just take this like this and just kind of whisk it around. Like a pharmacist, right? Just distributing the salt and the flour. And now I'm going to add the yeast in. We use flesh bins, active dry yeast. And I don't have my micro scale handy, but I'm going to use 1 gram. And 1 gram, you want to use a micro scale, but I got some practice with this. It's a tiny, tiny bit of yeast. I dump that into the bowl, and again, I whisk that around. Now for the fun part, because I don't have a filter in my new studio yet, I'm gonna look for alternative liquids. And what I've got here is my favorite water. It's called Liquid Death. And you can see that. It looks like an alcoholic drink. I quit drinking alcohol. I was looking for fun things to drink at parties. And this kind of looks like a tough, rugged, like alcoholic drink. So I drink these and people think I'm cool. Anyway, Liquid Death. And so I'm gonna put that back on my scale. And we're required 350 grams of this. So we open that up, right? Liquid Death. I zero my scale out and I'm just gonna put in 350 grams of water, which is almost this full can, almost. Boom, right? And now I'm gonna take, I can take a spatula or I can take, you know, a bench press thing here, a bench scraper. Put this down here again for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna take this and lightly kind of mix it around. Again, it's nice. These containers are great because I can leave everything inside the container. I'm not making, well, I am making a mess on my counter, but I don't really need to, a little practice. And I'm gonna lightly just kind of knead this for 2 or 3 minutes. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that I don't, I'm gonna take it off the spatula now, is make sure that I get all the dry clumps out of the flour in the water. And I'm just trying to hydrate the flour. And if I put a timer on, if I'm new to doing this, I will do this for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm just kind of pressing. You can see, it's very sticky, this dough. So don't be alarmed. It's okay if it gets sticky. Try to use just one hand to get messy. Right, chef? Not two like I just did.
Okay.
And then once I do this for 2 or 3 minutes, which I'm just about done now, it's probably a little bit shorter than that, but just for the sake of, it's gonna form one big ball. You can see this, one big ball. And if I was really motivated right now, I would clean this container out and just put the dough ball back inside of it. But since I'm not gonna do that because of class here, I'm gonna wash my hands off really quick. What I'm gonna do now, let me pause this camera here so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Boom. Hi again. I'm going to take this dough, right? I'm going to cover it up. These containers come with the lids. You can see just like this. And I'm going to leave this at room temperature. Room temperature for me is about 72 degrees. It's about, you know, it's summer, so it might get a little warmer than that. I'm going to leave this out overnight. In fact, this is my studio, so I'll be coming back here tomorrow. I'll take it off the counter and put it into the fridge. And it's gonna rise, not as much in these containers, it's more gonna spread from kind of edge to edge. And I'll leave it at room temperature. I'm gonna put it in the fridge until Friday night. So it's called Wednesday, so tomorrow's Thursday. I'm gonna have either pizza Friday or Saturday night. And then on Friday or Saturday night, I'm gonna take it out of the fridge and make what we call the dough ball, which, by the way, I made a dough batch the other day. Oops, here it is. I made a dough batch the other day, and I've got some dough that's been, you know, proofing. Actually, I made some yesterday. I made a pizza yesterday with this dough. So after 2 or 3 days in the fridge, the dough is going to ferment. It has this incredible aroma. And now I'm going to do is like the day of pizza making, 4 or 5 hours before I make the pizza, I make the dough balls. This is a critical step to kind of get all the gas out of the dough, make your ball so it can proof and rise the day of pizza making. We do it covered, and that's what's great about these containers. I'm going to put the balls right back into this container and leave it out again at room temp, which is amazing. Again, kind of keeping my mess to just to the container, which is kind of awesome. Although I'm managing to make a mess now. Anyway, makes sense? So let me make a dough ball for you guys. And I usually do is we take these 240 gram balls and we cut them up like this. That's about 240 grams. I'm going to measure this out. It's very sticky, this dough. Okay. That's like 250 grams, 260. So that's fine. Let me go a little bit. Flour up my hands. Do you see out here? You guys can see okay here? I'm flouring up my hands. I'm going to take the dough ball, okay, and flour it up as well. I'm not too worried about changing the water content. I'm getting it nice so it's not as sticky. Lighting a little reflective there. I just basically fold this in half, then turn my hands, press it in, and close it again. I can follow that sequence over and over. If it gets sticky at all, put more flour on your hands. I just keep following the same sequence and close and turn. As I press in, I close it. It's not a stress ball, so I'm not squeezing so tight that it's gonna rip all those gluten strands. I'm gonna do it really gently, just massage it. And I do this same cycle 20 to 30 times. And if it gets sticky at all, put more flour on your hands. I press it in and turn, and like this. And I almost like press, close, turn. Almost like a dance, press, close, turn. And you can see this one side, felt the reflection, is, maybe go down here a little bit. 1 second here. Get this a little better. Can you see that a little better? It's nice and smooth, like a baby's butt almost. And now what I'm gonna do is put that smooth side into my palm, and I'm gonna close this side up. And you can see I've got this incredible looking dough ball. That will go back into my container, just like this. And you can see I've actually left my other dough in here. That's fine. I'm gonna make some pizza later, and then I'm gonna put the dough back into the fridge. I'll cover this up and let this rest for about 4 to 5 hours at room temp. Again, about 72 degrees. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's the ideal temperature to let it proof. It's covered, so no skin will develop on top of that dough. So if you don't have a dough container like that, like saran wrap is great. Maybe sprinkle a little flour so it doesn't stick to it. But again, flour and then cover it. A sheet tray is fine. And then 4 or 5 hours later, those glutens are really relaxed, and that dough is going to stretch a lot easier. Super easy and incredibly, in fact. If I took that dough and tried to stretch it like now or within an hour, I've got no chance. I would need to get a rolling pin and really muscle the hell out of it to get it to stretch. But at the 4 or 5 hours, those glutens are really relaxed. It's chilled. It's basically done like the equivalent of like 3 hot yoga classes for dough. And it's totally chill, and it'll stretch to your limits, really thin or thick, however you want to do it. That's our recommendation. That's your 3-day dough. I'm Andres at Bake and Steel. Let's get to some questions.